back with us. KB, you know what?
I am 38 hot at every last one of you. First of all, let me just put
what
that
you upset about
disclaimer
this?
out.
Why?
Because the one time that I am not present,
Right.
I hear you all had
Oh, yeah, we ate
seafood
food.
burgers.
Yeah, we ate
like
food.
lobster fries.
Yeah, we ate
all
fish.
these sorts of
Oh,
things.
man, it was
and
good.
I didn't even get. I mean, even a picture of the food to say, look
What's
what
a
you're
picture? What's a
missing.
picture? Hold on, let me get
I
you a
mean,
picture.
I didn't
Hold
get.
on.
Oh, now you want to show
Let
me?
me get you a picture of the food.
Y'all ate without me. Like,
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
really offended.
I
See,
know.
Dean ain't saying nothing back there. He just quiet.
Listen, Dean was like, look, let's just eat it all.
Oh, my goodness.
You know me, I was like, look, let's
Y'all
save
sure
KV
right.
some.
That's okay. That's all right.
That's
My
all
time
right.
is coming. I'm going to go by and I'm going to have the best time
Okay.
without y'all.
Okay. Well, hey, joining the show today, man, great. I know I say this every week, don't I? Great topic. Great.
But I feel this energy, though, so
Yeah.
I know it's going to be great. I
Yeah.
can feel it.
This week, we got a special treat.
Yes.
Alfred, Roz Warren are here. Rosalind, Alfred and Rosalind married. They've been married 28 years?
Wow.
28
In November.
In November.
28.
Okay.
Got to talk about
28 in November.
28 years.
Wow.
Man,
I just want to be like you all
Am
when
I
I grow
20?
up. That's it.
I'm just 30, so they've been married like
28 long.
That was a fresh,
hey long.
fresh pie full of lies. Freshly baked pie full of lies.
Okay. So we're talking relationships today, and at 28 years, clearly you guys know something the rest of us don't know.
Because, I mean, their skin is glowing.
Well, you figured
like,
it out.
I'm looking at smiles on the faces.
Yeah.
I need to learn.
Well, we were kind of we had it out in the car before we got here.
Okay.
But we hashed it all out before we walked in the door. So.
I got you. I think you got to get a little closer right there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Am I close enough?
Yeah, that's
Down
it
here?
right there.
All right.
So you to be straight, you've been married 20 years, but that doesn't mean you've been always getting along for 28 years. It's been some
Absolutely
some
not.
arguments.
Oh, man.
There's been a few arguments, one or two, maybe
It's-
3 or 4.
Yeah.
It's been years of arguments. Man, no,
It's
no.
that hard?
It's not hard, but we were ignorant. Come,
Do
we didn't know.
elaborate.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We
Right.
didn't. I didn't know what it meant to be a husband.
So is it that you didn't know, or is it the fact that, you know, when you're growing up, you hear everybody else's version of what it's supposed to be and what you're supposed to do? So do you think it was living somebody else's version?
Well, I think mine was basically I saw my grandfather, and my grandfather's story was they never argued.
Yeah.
So I went
In
into
front of
marriage.
y'all.
Think you never supposed to
No,
argue?
they never
He
argued
said
at
they never
all.
had an argument.
Never.
How does that
Come
work?
on.
In how many
Not
years?
one?
They were married over 60
Now,
something.
that's
Not
what
even
he
about taking out the trash.
And not one,
eat.
no one argument.
That was his testimony.
Wow.
And so I went into marriage thinking. I went into marriage thinking this is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
Oh
Okay.
no, man!
There's gonna be some argument.
Yeah, I'm gonna bust hell wide open if that is the factor.
Wow.
I'm serious. So yeah, nah.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I didn't really go into it knowing anything. You know, I knew that before we got married, we were best friends, and we never argued as best friends. So when we got married,
Really?
it just kind of went,
It was just that segue.
yeah. And so, like he said, we really didn't know how to handle it. And so I think for us initially, it was just trying to figure out how to handle it, because what he hadn't told y'all is that in the first 6 months he did try to divorce me. Tell him that story.
Now,
the
so
people
no
wanna hear
argument,
that
just a
story.
flat foot
We're
divorce.
not wasting
People
any
wanna
time.
They want to hear that story.
I mean, usually there's the warm up. Hey, warm up.
We done jump right on in.
Jump right in. on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so now we
Put
getting down
it all
to
out
it.
there
See?
on the table.
I drove down to the downtown.
This is how
downtown
much
Little
he
Rock.
didn't know.
I just drove down. I told her to get in the car. Let's go. I'm about to get a divorce. And
After 6 months?
Yeah.
after 6 months,
Was it that bad?
it was that bad. I think
6 months?
before we
Oh,
had
I'm
reached
looking at her
that
eyes
before that
over
we had
here.
reached that point. We had actually sat in our living room and cried.
But
It's
see,
like-
y'all have to understand too that we were 19, 20.
Oh, yeah.
We moved from our mama's house
Nah,
with
yeah,
each other.
yeah.
Okay.
And so
Wow.
it was
Yeah.
a lot of factors that went into, us not knowing and really being young and, So yeah, he took me down there.
I took her down there. I told her, I said, I'm going in here to get this divorce. I went to the courthouse
I sat in the car.
and Yeah.
You just
You
was gonna walk
waiting-
in and
I
get
waiting
one.
patiently.
Well,
Just
I
like how
didn't-
you got
I
that
didn't want the
certificate,
divorce.
license. You thought you was gonna get one.
I
and
went-
not, okay.
Exactly. I
You
went
gonna
up-
turn it back in.
Yeah, I
Okay.
went in. I said, I'm here to get a divorce. I'm here to get. The lady just looked at me.
She said, "Okay."
She just looked at me and she was like, "Boy, get out of here." Just literally what she said. She said, "Boy, get out of here. You got to go through a whole process
Yes.
before that." So I walked out. I said,
But you knew
okay.
that already, right?
Yeah, I knew.
See,
I was just
see,
gonna
that's
let
why
him
she
find
sat
it.
in the car.
She
and
sat in the car.
Let
got
you
out
go in there and
fine.
make it
No,
He
fun.
Right.
got out. He put them little coins in the meter. I just sat there and watched him walk up there, and I said, "He'll be back. He ain't getting no divorce
Man.
today."
That's how it worked.
Wow.
I get back to the car. She said, "So, did you get your little divorce?"
That's when we throw that
When you
little,
throw
yeah,
little
that
something.
word,
But
that
see,
little.
but see, here's the thing. You let him go out there like that.
I did.
She said he had to learn.
I did. He had to learn. But when he got back, we had a discussion, and literally, y'all, I'm not lying. From that day forward, we talked about it and said divorce was no longer an option for us. And so I think we needed that moment to just kind of try to figure out what it is, where it was we were trying to
Right.
go, what we were trying to
Right.
do. Once we figured that out and divorce, we threw the divorce out. It was no longer an option. We figured, so we got to figure out how to make it work.
Okay, so here's the thing for me. So I researched this interview. I watched every piece of video you can watch.
my goodness.
That's what I do. So, okay, so here's where it is for me. I was married 13 years. Couldn't do it. I think it comes a time when you start to grow and one is going one way and the other one is, and nobody wants to go to the middle.
Yeah.
So when you get to that point, which I think at that point, it was that point for me about year 5, 6, kind of coasted the next 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you get to that point, what's the conversation? Take me in the room, sit me down. What's the conversation like when you start talking about? Because for me, when I say growing apart, it had gotten to the point where I was working a lot.
Yeah.
So to take up extra time instead of being frustrated about everything, I started coaching Little League Baseball.
Yeah.
I started taking the boys on the road.
Everything to not be.
I'm
at
practicing
Yeah.
everything
Not
to
be at
not
the
have to
house.
sit there and
Yeah.
face that and have that conversation.
Yep.
And then she started working more longer hours.
Yeah.
And so take me in the room and tell me what that conversation is like.
Wow, that to us is Red Door restaurant.
Okay.
Oh.
Red Door. We would go to Red Door and we would have these conversations in Red Door. And I think we chose Red Door because it's dimly lit.
So we could cry. and
So we
nobody
could
would
cry,
see us.
we can sit
Oh,
there
wow.
and fuss,
Wow.
Okay.
And
Didn't
so
know
so
that.
we would go to the Red Door, and the conversation looks like no holds barred. It's just what are you feeling,
Right.
and whatever you're feeling, I got to deal with it. So and there were some hurtful things that would be said.
So it's okay to say hurtful things when you're talking to each
Well,
other.
that's kind of part of the healing process.
Right.
So, like, when you get hurt, when you fall down and you skin your knee, it hurts. But it hurts, but it still heals. And so I think what people don't want to do is they don't want to deal with that hurt. They don't like
want
to
to
feel.
touch. They don't
yeah.
want to touch the scab.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you really have to be willing to open up and really allow the hurt to feel the hurt, and for that other person to know that, yeah, I'm hurting, and it starts that healing process.
Well, see, that's what I was going to ask, because what if both parties are not ready to hear that? How does that work? Because I might be in that mode to where I'm going to roll my neck.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that last word,
Yeah.
and I'm going to talk over you.
Uh-huh.
And all of that. I don't care that I have a communication degree. Let me communicate to you how I'm
Right.
feeling right
Yeah.
now, regardless of what you're trying to tell me.
Right.
How does that work? Especially even still with his question, but
Yeah.
what is that like when you have those two parties like that?
I think going into the conversation, you have to know where you want the conversation to go.
There's a
And
destination.
and so if peace is what you're trying to reach, then your communication lines up with that road to peace. If chaos is what you're trying to get, then because we've been there. I've done the neck rolling and the lip popping and the talking over him, and I saw what that got me. And at the end of the day, I'm sitting there saying, "Oh my God, I just want peace in my marriage. I want my marriage to be happy. But I'm not doing the things to make it that." I'm actually doing the things to
Counter.
cause it to be
There we go.
opposite of
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I had to sit down with myself, because a lot of times what we do is, because the other person is frustrating us, we give them that control over us now to respond out of frustration.
Right.
And so when you do that, you create more chaos, and you don't create really the desired result that you really want.
Well, okay, so let me, because I'm.
But
using
y'all,
mine
it took
as
a lot of years to get
Yeah,
to that
that-
point.
Yeah, 'cause I was just about to say we're in year 28 right now, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out when do you
Year-
hit this point?
We hit this point around year 17.
Wow.
17. It's still a long time.
That's a long time.
It took
It
that
is.
that, but it took us that long to really to find that rhythm and flow. You know, and I, you know, I was just immature. I was just immature, man. I did some stupid stuff.
Now it's funny you say that. You know, I'm gonna let you get on to that, but because I gotta add this nice little bit right here, because we asked you some of the things that somebody would be shocked to know about you, and you said you had to overcome bullying. What, you 6 foot, 6'1"?
Man,
Who's bullying you?
man.
Who bullied you?
I grew up on Pine Street.
Oh.
Okay.
All
Well,
You said
No,
no,
you
just
just
a
explained
consensus.
it.
It was
That's all you had to
now
say.
we understand.
Now I got it.
Now
I got
we
it.
get it.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
I grew up on Pine
Yeah.
Street.
I got it. Okay.
And I went to Southwest Middle School, junior high at the time. But man, growing up there, that was hard. It was
Yeah.
hard. That was hard. And I was the kid without the dad. In a house full of women. Because my mom, my grandmother, and my aunt raised me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was that kid. I was that kid.
But here's the thing. I mean, even adding the parents in, because both of my parents are there. But man, when I tell you totally opposite ends of the spectrum, so I've only seen it one way. My mom wouldn't say a word. The boss. My daddy on 10 all the time.
All the time.
Never. He didn't come to the games. He wasn't that dad. I ain't going to the games. I ain't doing this. You do what I say. Do what I tell you. This. And he was a farmer and a bricklayer. So everything was, you stupid for going to college. Why are you going to college? Why you-"
Yeah.
And my mom was the one that said, "Oh, this little bro here going to college.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
going. He's going to do this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I had both ends of the spectrum, and usually people say when you grew up in a house with both of them,
It makes a difference.
statistically it's supposed to make the
balance.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't really make the difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
Okay.
still got
That's
some.
good.
You still gonna have some of your parents' ways. So I
Yeah.
always tell.
Yes.
I always tell people when I talk to them, even if you don't talk to your mom or don't talk to your dad, well, you better find out who they are.
Yeah.
Because you are who they are.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So did you have that moment where you said your dad wasn't there, but you still had to find out who he is to know
Well-
where everything was coming from?
Well, my mom redirected me.
Okay.
Because I was just not on that good path. So she told me, she pulled me over one time and she just said, Al, you know, according to the Bible, the word says he's a father to the fatherless.
Right.
And
So-
your dad died, though.
And my
He
dad,
wasn't
my
just
dad,
not
he
there.
wasn't just, my dad passed before I was 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't even have memories
Right.
of him. But my mom told me, you know, hey, God is a father to the fatherless.
Right.
So at that point, I kind of, okay, God is my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started to try to work into that vein of doing things.
Right.
But however, dealing with the bullying part of it, you know, I'm a strong advocate of parental involvement. And it works my nerves to hear parents just say, I'm going to pray about it. When it comes to bullying,
Right.
we're just going to pray. Nah, my mom
deal with
prayed.
it.
Yeah, my mom prayed, but she also took me off the bus where I was getting bullied. Cause I told her, I came home one time. I said, Mom, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it.
Get
It
to
was
the root
that
of the
bad?
problem,
Man, it was
though. Yeah.
that bad. It
Well,
was
I mean,
that
you grew
bad.
up on Pine.
I grew up on
There's
Pine.
that factor.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, people don't understand, man. Pine and Cedar was something different.
And not to mention back during the time, because I think we were about the same age. Well, I may be a little older than you, but because I came out in '89, I was supposed to come out in '90. But I think back then, you know, gangster rap was coming in. And all the Crips and the Bloods was starting to get heavy. So you had to choose a side. It was like Alabama, Auburn.
Right.
Blood, you know what I'm saying?
But come on, but
I got to choose a side.
But think about it, Mark. That was late, late 80s. So you had a lot of brothers, ready for the world type brothers.
You did have some ready for the world type, right?
Okay.
You had them ready.
Was I ready for the world type, brother? You did have some ready for the world.
You had them kind of brothers, but that was hard.
Might have been a picture or two of me out there with a curl.
Oh, we gotta find
would love to.
We gotta
Can you find that?
No.
Can you really search for that one?
We don't want to find that. How about that?
I had a curve.
See, so they weren't bad.
Yeah.
It was just the thing to do.
Yeah.
So I tell my kids, everybody had one.
That's right.
Pretty much.
That's right.
Pretty much.
I didn't have one.
That's okay.
That's why I got bullied.
Yeah. Okay, so you move past. So how much of it is a person and how they what they saw growing up? Because my mother was crazy strong. You didn't talk back to my mom. I don't care who you were. If you came over my house, because she'll tell you over here. We're not doing this.
We're in the same boat.
You gonna do okay? So how much of it was of your upbringing and yours was, because I always tell people now, and I'm gonna get into this in a minute, but how much of it was you had to learn? You learned from what your parents saw, or you saw what your parents do.
did.
Yeah.
For me, so I was raised by my mom. My dad is alive, but was not in the picture. And so it was just me and my mom growing up. I have an older brother, but my brother was not raised with me. So I was raised as the only child in a single parent home with my mom.
Okay.
Man, that's an appetite for.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I think for me, and I know all little girls kind of go through that whole phase of playing house and wanting, being somebody's wife and being, but I think that that's just really something that God put in me like super early. And I always knew that I wanted to be somebody's wife, and I wanted to be a mom, and I wanted to have a family, and I wanted to, all those things were just things that I was just really passionate about. And I think that came from looking at my mom not having that and seeing the struggles that she had and her wanting to be with, be that, but just not finding that. And so I think for me, it really influenced me in the opposite way. Rather than looking at what they were doing, I looked at what they did not have, and I said, that's what I want. I don't want this. I want the other thing. Yeah. And so for me, I think that was really the driving force behind it. And I wanted to find somebody that could give me things that I had never had before. And so I came, my dad was not real involved in my life when I was growing up, and I wanted that. I wanted somebody to, and it's crazy now because it does something to me when he calls me his baby girl. Because I never really had that from my dad. I never really had somebody to say, that's my baby girl. That's, I don't care what she does. That is my baby girl. And so it really does something to me when he says that to me. And so I think for me, that was really the driving force behind why I wanted to really be married and have an awesome marriage and have kids and have a family.
And that's interesting. Well, that's interesting, though. He's like, But that's interesting because most of the time when you look at that, and girls, and when you watch your mom, and as a single mom, you develop that whole INDEPENDENT.
Exactly.
See, you need to stop listening
to
that devil music. That's what you're doing.
That's that Wolf Street coming out in me. Okay, but you develop that you have to be independent. You have to do this. You have to do that. Don't depend on a man to do X, Y, Z.
Right.
And so that's really interesting that you took that whole opposite approach. So then when she comes with that opposite approach to you. And then you come with everything with being in there with mama, auntie, everybody.
Yeah. Come on now,
how did that meet?
You should have had.
Well, my thing was I never wanted to be married. That was never my plan.
Never?
That was
He
never
wasn't
my
ready
plan.
for the world, y'all. He just had the curve.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I never. My plan, and I told Rosses, my plan was to go to NBA.
Yeah, because we know Alfred Warren was a star.
Man, it's
Don't start.
With the shorts.
That's funny.
Bring it up.
Come
Oh
on,
man, not
come
the
on.
short.
The old Parkview shorts.
You know that's coming back though.
wow.
Now they rolling their shorts up to get that look.
Man, don't do that.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Let that style.
Let it stay there.
But no, yeah, I never wanted to be. I was gonna go to the NBA, and I told Roz that I'm just going to jet set. I'm just gonna travel the world, have a girlfriend in each country.
Yeah.
That's right, because y'all were friends.
We
So
were
we
friends.
Yeah.
talked about everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the kind of conversations we would have.
And then when he told me that, we started dating, and I told him.
2 weeks later.
Like, wait.
2 weeks later. Oh, so as long as you knew what the plan was.
Okay.
I knew that's what his plan was. But
He didn't understand your
he
plan,
didn't
though.
understand my because
Okay.
I'm actually one that told him that he was gonna marry me after he said he didn't want to get married. Yeah.
Okay.
She said it.
You
2
just
weeks.
accepted it.
Well, there's a lot of history behind that because everybody remember Scott Field track meets. So when I first saw her, when I first met her, it was in junior high, 7th grade. And me and my boy Brock was going to the track meet, and she got out of her aunt's Lincoln. That was my first time seeing her. She got out of her aunt's Lincoln, and y'all, I swear it was like a Spike Lee episode. It was just like, she had that aura, that orange aura.
Really?
Had a curl then.
And with the curl.
That
With
was
the
that
red
curl.
curl. With the curl.
That's
With the
all
curl.
I like.
Because they were in style back then, kids. They were in style. That's what we wore back then.
Yo, she had the curl, y'all, and she just walked. And I looked at my boy Brock. I said, "That's the one." In 7th grade,
Wow.
didn't really realize.
Say that again. 7th
Wow.
grade.
7th grade. I said, "That's the one."
Okay.
7th grade.
Okay.
I'm assuming there's something behind it.
See, I knew in 5th grade,
Okay.
but go ahead.
But
7th
somebody-
grade.
Wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
7th
So
grade.
I told Brock. I said, "That's the one." So I tried to shoot my shot. It was blocked.
Whoa.
She act like she ain't know me.
Act like she
Okay.
did. Ain't it a trip when they do that? They act like they don't know you.
Got me in public. And
Or you-
Sounds like it's a little animosity on this side of
Or
the
you-
room.
A little bit.
Or you
Just a little bit.
or you too short and she cracking short jokes on you.
But see, I was
You
the
know what I'm
brother. I
saying?
was the brother that didn't have the curl.
Yeah, that was your problem.
That was the
Should've got
problem.
you a
That
girl.
was the problem. That was the problem. So I shot a shot in 7th grade, shot another shot in 10th grade.
But we started
Oh.
being really good friends
Okay.
in 7th grade.
We started being good
Okay.
friends.
Okay.
Say that part.
But I shot again in 10th grade.
Shot down.
Yeah, shot down. Then I think it was when she saw me in the newspapers.
What?
Wow.
Say it again, brother.
It couldn't be the
12th
fact that
grade.
we've always
12th grade.
been
Wait a
here.
minute. So
12th grade when she see me, and then I got a girlfriend
No.
now.
Boy.
I ain't no gold digger.
No, wait a minute now. Hold
I
on.
want to go to you.
Okay, let's keep the conversation.
But it finally came together 12th grade.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, but then that 2 weeks later in the 12th grade, she said, "You gonna marry me?"
And it's work. You know, when people say that, y'all was saying a minute ago, 5th grade. You know, you meet them and you say, "Man,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you find out years later
Yeah.
that their thought process was, you know, I just wasn't ready to be
Yeah.
committed.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me. That was what I said. That was me. That was exactly what I
And look
said.
how he's looking like, really? Is that what it was?
Another girl told her
Oh.
that I wasn't no good.
Because you know they listen to that. They listen
But they
to
were
the-
already friends, so I'm sure she came to the defense on that anyway, because that's not the person that she knew.
Well.
So-
So
Well, let me hear.
conversations that we had previously.
Okay.
You know, I knew that he had some girls.
Okay.
Wait.
With the
Ooh,
S
that
on
was
the
a
end.
long
First of all,
S.
That sure was a
No,
long.
that
That
was a
It was a
long
long
S.
S. I mean, did you have to say?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
y'all got the full effect.
Okay.
Well,
What
girls is
okay.
plural, so you have to.
Well, so when this other girl told me, there was already this, okay, I know.
Okay.
And so I just decided at that point,
Yeah.
maybe we need to just kind of step back a little bit. And then, y'all, I wanted to preserve my friendship with him, too.
Because you had that first, so
Yeah, we had that first, and so I was
There's
really
a
afraid.
choir.
there's nothing wrong with the amen corner. There's nothing wrong with the amen corner. Come on, amen corner.
So you know that you've been put in situations before where you compromise that relationship and you can never go back and get it. And so now, not only have you lost your love, but you lost your best friend too.
Right.
We gotta cut that mic. Jeez.
I'm in support of the amen corner. Sometimes we need that.
Yeah, so I think that was a fear for me.
Right.
It really was a fear. We established this in 7th grade. We were really good friends. I could talk to him about anything. I didn't want to lose that.
Did you have that thought then? Because you're saying, okay, I want to preserve the friendship, but did you even ever have that thought? Well, this is it. This will be it, and I'm gonna have to watch him and be with the sis and all of that.
Yeah,
because you can say, I really want my friendship. Okay, but then when you really process it and think about it, it's like, so I'm gonna have to watch him walking around with Keisha with her curl and then her stuff. With the cross colors. I'm not doing it.
Not the cross colors.
And I think, you know what?
Why you bring up the cross colors? That was the style back then.
Yeah, I
by the
like
way.
cross colors too.
Yeah.
But I think so. Yeah, I think that kind of, that did kind of put a little fire under me because there were other females that were after him and that wanted him, and I knew that he liked me, but at the same time I was just again trying to preserve that. But I think there was a time where I said, okay girl, you're gonna miss out if you don't and so I think I got a revelation that, you know what, if we're really good friends, we might be able to just take this friendship and make it into just a closer relationship.
Because I'm trying to keep up with the conversation. At what age was it when you realized that? I'm just curious.
Well, that was still in high school. That's when we started dating in high school. So I think it was in high school. I'm so tickled.
Go ahead.
It was in high school, but it didn't happen like that immediately. And we started dating. Everything was awesome, but then again, like I said, when we got married, things started to change.
But see, the thing that kept us though, Mark, it was good for us to set up that friendship.
Yeah.
Right.
Because during those first 17 years of marriage, it was our friendship that kept us together.
And I want to say, in that first 17 years, I know we really painted this horrible picture, but it really was not.
It wasn't all bad.
Awful.
It wasn't all bad.
It was awful, but it wasn't trash.
Right. But see, because when kids come into play, that changes
Everything.
Everything. Now it's
everything.
It was I'm looking out for you, you looking out for me. Then when the kids come in, now it's
we gotta do for them.
You gonna get up with it?
Gotta get up for them.
I got up for last time.
And then also you think about, again, we were really young, not only kids, but just now having responsibility for the first time. We didn't have that before.
And balancing that with each other.
And then we came from our backgrounds, y'all, were so completely different. His folks gave him everything.
Well, that's Alfred Warren. There you go. That's Parkview Patriots leading
and
scorer.
Everybody catered to him, right? Even people outside of his family, people at school. I was always known as Alfred's girlfriend. I ain't have no name. I ain't got no name. Excuse me. Yeah, that's Alfred's girlfriend. I do have a. But that's where he came from. For me, I came from struggle. I came from, we didn't have a whole bunch, and so when we got together, I had. At that point, had already been working 5-6 years. He had never had a job. His job was basketball.
Hey, that's Alfred Warren, though.
See? Know.
We played around the same time.
So it was completely different. And so coming into the marriage now from a friendship. So friendship says, I get to see you. We get to have fun. We can go hang out and all those things. Even when we're dating, we got to do those things. But when we got married, now responsibility kicks in. Now I belong to you. So now you're responsible for me.
And he had never had any responsibility.
There we go.
And so he
there we go.
was quitting jobs. And that was a problem.
Because my calling was basketball.
Yeah.
That's why he was going to the NBA. You knew the playbook when this whole thing started.
You knew the plan before you married. Right. But I didn't understand that. See, go back to what I said. My thing was I wanted to be a wife and I wanted to have a family and I wanted to.
So you were getting what you wanted.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Well, I think what she said was real key, because I was spoiled. I was spoiled. My mom, grandma, aunt, they spoiled me, and and then basketball was good to me at that time. And so I thought when I got married, she was supposed to cater to me. And it didn't work out that way.
Well, see, it was the exact opposite for me because I wasn't I played the basketball. He played on the upper echelon.
Oh,
I went to Henderson. I went to Henderson State. I had Henderson State AIC scholarship.
Okay.
Come on now.
He had high D1, that type of thing. So anyway, so when I played,
I don't know nothing.
I kind of thought they were supposed to cater to me, but my approach was, I can't go into this thinking that I'm not gonna clean up, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that. So I was so nervous.
Wow.
When I got married, that every Friday I folded everybody's clothes in the house every Friday.
Wow.
And when the baby came, when the baby came, I did the bottles at night. I washed them out. I got all that stuff ready. When it was time to get up, I didn't have to be at work until 1:00. So I would get up and got Justin ready and put him in his little car seat. And when she got ready to walk out, if it was cold outside, I had the car warming up.
Okay.
Put the baby in the car.
on,
I did all that part.
Now I hope you really mean this.
I
now.
did.
Okay.
But let me tell you the problem.
Okay, I'm like, it sound good, but now hold on.
See, because here's where the problem
That don't
came
work
in.
with my house. Who's finna go get that one? You.
So
flip a coin.
what I did was, now I was expecting, I'm doing. So now, look here. Now, when I come home, this is what I need you to do. I cut up this little T-shirt. I need you to have this little cut up T-shirt on.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I want the thermostat to be at this.
Come on. Yeah.
I want to have Teddy playing in the
Boy, look
background.
here, Teddy in the background. When I come in, I'm gonna get that right there at the time. He say, "Turn them on, turn them on right now." See that? And when I was getting to that point, and I wasn't getting that.
Yeah.
Right.
See, after
There we go.
so I look at him. I'm 3 years. I'm doing this. I'm doing. Oh yeah, let me cut back on this.
Bro, we're gonna have to
back
talk.
on that.
We're gonna have
Let
to
me
talk.
cut back on
So
that.
I have to go there then.
It's relatable. It's
Yeah.
relatable.
We got to ride home
She
together.
said we have to ride home. But no, you said something very key there. Just in that. How does that work when one expects one of the other? And then you done brought up Teddy P. So I mean, like, if even for people that where it may be opposite, let's say, because everybody wasn't you and didn't have you, Mark. So let's say, somebody may have Radio Raheem over here who really not doing it like that, and so they have to do it all. But how does that still, balance out? Because then he may be looking at, I know I don't do as much as you, but I still need Teddy P. When I come in, she like, wait a minute, because I've done now since we gonna take notes, let me go on over here and pull out my my book.
Yeah.
And so I've done this, and now I'm tired. I'm not getting ready to turn no Teddy on. I'm gonna roll that cover over.
So how does that play?
Well, I think was Teddy being played before?
Oh, come on now.
And then Teddy stopped.
Oh.
When responsibilities, how was the?
See, before then it was catered to old Marty Marr. Teddy played when Marty Marr wanted Teddy to play.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So then when all this responsibility came in, I didn't really deal with the responsibility, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna go on and get all. I remember one night, I got off work early, cooked dinner. She came in. Water ready. I was like, I had already told her the plans.
It's about to be an
whole
awesome night.
Boy, I'm here, eyes like this.
Yeah.
By the time I got Justin asleep, the kitchen clean, and walked in the room, all I heard was,
yeah.
Man, it was Teddy.
Yeah.
Right.
Couldn't hit play. You know what I'm saying? You didn't play. Couldn't get the doggone thing to come on.
You should have put Rick James on.
This is the Rick James in there. I got you.
I really think we have this perception of what marriage is supposed to be, and when
Cosby Show showed us, though.
And when we get married and it's not what we perceived or what we thought it was going to be, then we automatically think that, oh, this must be wrong. And I don't think I don't think that people get divorced because that's what they want to do. I think people don't know how to stay together anymore. And so when you don't know how to do something, the easiest thing to do is to do what you know to do, which is to just let it go.
Right.
Because it takes too much time. It takes too much effort to try to figure out how to do something that I don't know how to do. So I would just rather leave it alone. And so I think a lot of times what happens is we get married and we have these preconceived notions of what it's going to be like this. I'm going to do this, and then she going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and he going to do that. And when that does not happen, you are stuck there trying to figure out what the heck is this, because this ain't what I thought it was.
But babe, another part of that is also a lot of times what we'll do is we get so caught up in pre-responsibility Teddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That when responsibility hit, we didn't communicate our expectations.
Yeah.
Because we were so distracted by getting what we wanted, getting catered to, that we failed to really communicate, okay, when life hits, this is what I need. I need 5 or 6 times a week.
Yeah, well, that's unrealistic.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, now.
But these are the kind of conversations that a lot of people have with us.
Yeah.
But these are the kind of conversations we really need to have and not get so distracted that we don't communicate our expectations.
Yeah,
and that's what happens.
Because you can't expect anybody to do for you what you haven't expressed to them.
Makes sense.
So not a mind reader, basically.
Yeah, and I said this the other day, common sense to you may not be common sense to someone else. And so a lot of times you think that, that's what I would do. This is how I would do it. Well, that may not be so common to them. That may not. I mean, we have to always go back to when you get married, yes, you're one, and we believe in the oneness of marriage and all of that, but you are still two very different people. And the way you think might not be the way that they think. The way he thinks is not the way that I think. And that's another thing that I think we don't really tap into is really learning our spouse.
Studying.
This is a class, and you got to study this thing in order to know this person that you living with, this person that, because marriage, I mean, really, when you go into a marriage, we go into it with selfish reasons. First, it's about what is he going to do to please me. But really, that's not what it's about. Marriage is not for me. It's for me to go into it with a mindset, how can I make him better? And if we both go into it with that mindset, if my mindset is how can I be an asset to him, and he's going into it with how can I be an asset to her, then we create this awesome marriage because I'm concerned about his needs, he's concerned about mine. But what we do is we go into it with, what you gonna do for me? And if you don't do that for me, then I ain't doing that for you.
Now it becomes conditional.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is. But see, I thought that was growth. I thought that when it gets to that point, you start to see, because my mindset, and I'm using my marriage as an example, my mindset changed. It went from, as I was hanging out when I started, I was doing the radio maybe first couple of years of my marriage. Then I jumped into television. So now you're around a different group of people. Yeah. And I'm around these people who are taking trips, and I'm like, where are you going? Oh, we going on a trip? Yeah. Who you taking?
Who you taking?
You taking your husband? You taking your wife? What you gonna do that for? Why would you take her?
Yeah.
Why would you take him?
Yeah.
You want to have fun or what?
Yeah.
Right.
So then I was around them so much that it got to a point where I was like, I would go home. I was like, hey,
we need to do this.
Man, I'm gonna be in New Orleans for 7 days.
Come on.
Why don't you come with me? And she was like, boy, hush. I ain't going to New Orleans for no 7 days. It's all expenses paid. I don't care.
Oh.
Okay.
So then you start going down that path.
Right.
Now you don't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so we did the whole counseling thing. We got to the counselor, man. It took 15 minutes to fill out that paperwork. We finished filling out all that paperwork. We sat down in front of that man. He said, Mark, is there anything are you willing to do what it takes to get this working? I said, yep. He looked at her and said, are you willing to do what it takes to get this working? She said, that doesn't work for me. I don't know about anything. And he was like, well, can't go any further.
Right.
We get in the car. We get in the car. Conversation in the car went from, man, what we waste our time? Yeah, you go get in there and do it.
Right.
You're the one that suggested it. You know, at some point, you start to grow. I mean, I just felt like at that point, you start to go in different directions.
Yeah.
And that's real.
Because my expectations became doing more things. That was part of the coaching the baseball. Justin wanted to play ball, so you got to get out there. He didn't have a coach.
Yeah.
Coaching
Yeah.
in basketball.
Yeah.
Really don't want to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I can spend time with the
Yeah.
kids.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm doing all this. I'm turning around. Hey, I need a team mom. You know? Oh, you don't want to be the team mom? Oh, yeah. So then it starts to get even further apart. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. When I say growth, I think growth is the biggest thing because people grow,
Absolutely.
and one wants to take it to another level and the other one doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's a part, again, that you have to go into it with that expectation and realize that just like anything, we go through different phases. We go through different seasons. We go through different levels.
Yeah.
And so the person that you married at 25 is not going to be that same person at 30. And so if you don't figure out a way to continue to get to know this new person, you will absolutely grow apart. Because what you will do is, if you started at 30 buying pink roses, and then at 35 she decides, you know what, I like carnations now, but you keep buying pink roses, you think you doing something.
Right. You're not
But
doing anything.
You ain't doing
but you ain't doing nothing because you're not
Right.
giving her
What she
needs.
There you go.
And so you have to continue to grow together, and
Right.
you do that by continuing to get to know each other.
Right.
So how do you set that up? Because I know both of you, you counsel married couples and things of that nature. So when it gets to that point and you have each person feeling like they've kind of lost their identity just throughout that marriage. You said I'm just his girlfriend, so I ain't got no name.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he the ball player, so I don't have no name. But you look at what
Alfred
those.
Warren was not a ball player. Alfred Warren was the
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
tickled.
The ball
So
player.
tickled.
Exactly.
Okay. So when you are the ball player, but how do you bring that back? Because it made me think of something. I always, for whatever reason, all of my friends always call me and I'm like, I can't help you, child. I can barely help myself. I'm just saying, let's be real. But when you have that and it's like, well, I don't know, what to do or how to get that point, because I hear that same thing from a lot of my friends. When I married you, son, you done changed. You ain't the same person. She be like, well, he told me I changed. Whereas, man, Chris, she told me I done changed. But how do you get to that point?
Well, you're supposed to change.
You are supposed
Yes,
to change,
most
and you
definitely.
are
Yeah.
supposed to change together. So my question would be for those that are listening, so y'all can quit calling me. I'm just saying,
With that
because I'm gonna
neck
start
roll.
charging.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna start charging. But no, what are some of those maybe assignments or tasks that you give couples when you are talking to them about maybe little things to find that way? Because what if I can't do the red door? What if what if I need to go over here to Burger King who making tacos
Come
now?
on.
I'm just saying.
Talk
But-
about it.
Before, yeah.
Come on.
you know,
Tuesday.
I'm just saying, it's a lot of people out here not taking risk, and they over here making tacos. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But how do you? I guess what are some of those assignments and encouragement to give those to those couples who don't know how to get to that common ground or that neutral place, so we can be open and discuss
That's
those
good.
things?
That's good. And I think one thing we need to do is embrace each other's change. You gotta embrace that change is inevitable. It's going to happen. And so what I got to do is I got to embrace that Roz has changed. And then the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth
Good
a good
thing.
thing. Well, a lot of people don't understand that findeth is that ETH means there's a continuation. Whenever you put the ETH in, it's a continual finding. So I didn't just find her 7th grade. I didn't just find her 10th grade. I didn't just find her 12th grade. I didn't just find her. This is a continual thing. And so what we do is we get trapped with thinking they're going to always be like this in this season. So I got to embrace that change is inevitable. And then and there has been times where we went to Sonic and we just sat out in Sonic.
Get you a number one with cheese.
Yeah.
You know the number one don't come with cheese.
We couldn't even afford it. We were getting a shake
And too strong.
and too strong.
Make it work.
Yeah, but we embrace the that each other. You have to change. It's impossible to stay the same. Life doesn't work that way, because if you stay the same, you're dead. Everything that's alive grows.
Yeah.
And so I have to give her, as my wife, I have to give her that respect, and vice versa. She has to give me that respect.
And I think you have to also remember that communication is I know we say this and it sounds so cliche,
yeah.
but
That's
communication
Man.
is the life of your relationship. You have to talk to each other. You can't just feel it and think that they're gonna know it. You have to express it so that they can, because what you do is you put your spouse at a disadvantage, and it's so unfair to have a need and not express that to them because you don't give them the opportunity to fix or give you whatever it is. You just mad.
You ought to know.
Yeah. You just sitting in the corner mad, huffing and puffing, and he don't even know. Say something. Open your mouth and say something. And so I think, one of the biggest things that we tell couples is when they come talk to us, one of their assignments before they leave is for the next week until we meet again, every night for the next 7 nights, spend 10 minutes talking to each other. 10 minutes. It ain't about, how little Johnny cutting up in school. It ain't about how much money we owe here, but it's just about, babe, how was your day? What do you need from me today? What do you need? Who do you need? Those types of things. Because those are the things that connect us.
And another thing that a lot of people miss too, when people start to drift apart, if you notice, we stop touching.
Sure do.
Gotta touch.
Putting pillows in between you at night. You don't even put your foot over here
All
on
of
me.
you over here on this side, I'm over here on this side. This is what it is.
And one of the things we tell couples, one of the exercises we tell them is touch. Touch, hold hands. It can be non-sexual touch, but that touch brings so much of a connection.
So where does trust come into this?
Well, I was going to go there eventually.
Yeah, trust.
Because when the trust get broken,
y'all may want to bring us back for a whole
how do
other
you
show.
get back to that? I was going to go there.
Is it
That's
that bad?
spicy.
Is that bad?
Man, it's trust, y'all. Once trust is broken, one thing that I found out is that if I'm the one that has broken trust, I lose the right to determine how quick they get over it.
Right. Okay.
You lose that right. I can't sit up and say, you're not over that yet.
Are you bringing it up again?
You still,
I mean,
still tripping?
That was
But
so,
like 10
that was
years
so
later, though.
last year. Yeah.
But see, I think what you have to understand is once something happens, you don't have the ability to not remember that anymore. And what we also have to realize is once trust is broken, you have changed who that person is. That person is no longer who they were before trust was broken. And I hear a lot of people say this. I just want us back. I just want to get back to where but that is what got y'all to where you are. So I don't want that back.
Right.
And you will never be able to get that back because now you're dealing with two completely different people. You've done your thing and it has caused me to be now this person that I am. So what you have is what you've created. And a lot of times that's hard to swallow. We don't want to believe that the marriage that I have, that the relationship that I have, it is this because this is what we have made it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Well, cool.
Well, all right then. Well, where do you go now? Where do you go now?
So I'm doing my research this morning, and I'm hearing
tickled.
the 5 love languages, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, because see, this is what this has been my little book.
Over there. You've been
Yeah,
like, nope. I see you making slash marks over there.
This is where I'm, because I'm looking at the 5 love languages.
But what if all of those are your love language? Why you gotta have one?
Oh.
Why today I might want to. It is, but I think what that does is, and I'm not knocking, and I think it's an awesome tool to use. But I think what it does is it locks you into this place.
Limits us.
Yeah, and so today I might need you to touch me, but
Affirmation.
tomorrow I might not
affirmation.
need you to touch me at all. I might just need you to say something to me. So if you looking at, well, she just want me to touch her, and I'm mad, and you over here doing this, and I'm like, boy, you know what I mean? So it may be hard for it. I kind of come and go out of each one of those. And so that's why it's so important to communicate and stay connected, because then you will know your spouse and you will know who they are in that moment, and you will be able to cater to them based on that moment and not just what they were yesterday.
Okay, I got to change direction here because I got an email.
Okay.
So I said I was going to bring it up.
Okay.
You preach, pastor now. Whooping your kids.
Oh my goodness.
Come on now. The Bible says spare the rod, spoil the child. See what I'm saying? But the school district say
You whoop them, you going to jail.
you whoop 'em, you going to jail.
Especially if you do it on my grounds. Get off my grounds.
So,
Right.
and but see, my mama was the type that she would tell you, listen, if I got to come up to, if I got to clock out, come up to that school,
Yeah.
it's automatic beat down,
Yeah.
bro. Ain't no, you know, you can't negotiate out of that
Yeah.
one. You know what I'm saying? So, what's the thing on that? What's the role on that?
The if I listen to my mama's voice, if I listen
What
to
I
her-
do.
yeah. So
Right.
if I listen to my mom's voice right now, she said, look, that's why they got bottoms. So you don't leave, they won't see no whelps.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Marks.
yeah,
And
yeah.
That's why they got bottoms. You know, but I think at this point, y'all, culture has changed.
Yeah, because
so
this
Yes,
new
it
generation of kids, they don't want you to touch them. They
Can't
don't
touch
want you
them.
to
Can barely
talk
say
to
something
them.
to
Right.
them.
Before they can
Yeah,
talk
any
good,
of
they
that.
know how to call 911 on you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's very true.
Yeah. But I think what we have to do is we have to still establish a respect though that they have to have, and you just can't beat them in public, man.
But I think too we have to understand that you don't have to whip them for everything either.
No.
And I've seen
No.
that end too, where every
No.
time they do something, and every time the parent is upset, the first resource is to spank them. And I do think that you can raise your child in a way that you can sit them down and have a conversation. Make sure they
That was
understand.
foreign to me, y'all.
Yeah.
That was foreign to me. And
To do
Ron-
what?
A conversation with
was
the child?
Conversations.
With the
Oh,
conversation.
Because I
Conversation.
never, I
Okay.
didn't
Oh, yeah.
get spankings growing up.
You
What
did?
you say?
And
I
so
never
Girl,
had a
stop.
spanking. in
So
my
you
life.
never even got that joy of going out to that
Never?
No,
bush
y'all, please don't.
and picking your own?
She don't know nothing about
She don't know nothing about that. But see, what she did was she told on everybody else.
Oh, my God.
See,
that is-
see,
that
she
is-
won't. She,
Okay.
ain't-
Cardinal sin.
she would tell it, so then she
Snitching
wouldn't get
is
it.
a-
We having a good
Cardinal sin.
conversation on the ride home, buddy. Real good conversation.
But now, see, she didn't grow up getting whooped. I grew up getting beatings.
Boy.
Okay.
I was spoiled, but I was respectful.
Oh, I don't even know if I was that.
I was respectful because I was scared. I was scared to disrespect elders.
Oh, I was scared, but
You
look.
got that embedded in you, though, you know. That's
kinda
why
do
I
it a
said you
little
go out
bit.
there
I
and get
did
that
it.
switch and don't have no extra leaves, because if you do, you gotta go back and get another one.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah,
it was put in you.
My mom talked to me, like literally.
Wow.
She talked to me. But again, this is coming from a person who. It's crazy because I've been a people pleaser all my life. And I just really got to a place where I'm no longer that in my 40s. I'm 47 years old, and
Same
literally early in my 40s is when I got to a place where I was like, you know what? Just not doing this anymore. I've done this too long. So for me growing up, one of the things that kept me out of trouble was that I did not want to disappoint my mom. I wanted to please her. And so I would do what I needed to do to please her.
Gotcha.
And so I don't know. I'm not saying that that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's a thing.
That's your truth.
Yeah.
And so I used to ask my mom, though. I was like, why do you let me do whatever I want to do? And I asked her that at a really young age about a cookie. I remember one day we were having a conversation, and she said, we were just talking, and I said, Mama, I like Oreo cookies. And I like the cream in the Oreo cookies. And I said, Mama, can I have some cookies? And she was like, girl, you don't have to ask me for cookies. Go get the cookies. So I went and I got the cookies, and I started to eat all of the cream out of the cookies. And I put the cookies back together. I put it back in the bag, and I put them back where they came from.
that kid.
Oh wow.
That kid. Yeah.
My mom, when she went in and she saw what I had done, she didn't say anything. And I asked her, I said, Mama, why you don't ever get mad at me? Why you don't ever whoop me for stuff? Because all my friends got whoopings.
Yes.
Boy.
Beat down.
And she just said, because I don't feel like I need to do that. I feel like we can sit down and we can talk, and that's what she's always done.
Well, see, I've done that. I said, Justin, listen, you want me to talk to you? Hey, brother, I need you to clean up your room today. Hey, it was like,
always
okay,
work that
no
way.
problem, Dad.
Yeah.
You know, I got you, Dad. You know, I'm going to do that. Okay. So the next day, hey, buddy,
Hey.
buttums,
That's my word.
old
buddy.
buddy,
Buddy. Old pal.
hey, guy.
Right.
Remember you said you were going to clip? Yeah, Dad, you know what? I just forgot. Okay, no problem. You going to do it today? Yeah, okay. No problem. Come home from work. 11 o'clock at night. Room still dirty. So I said, well, let me see.
Let me change my tone.
Took the old belt off, popped that butt a little bit.
What happened?
The room got clean.
Magic,
right
just like that.
It's just odd how when I break this belt out, we get things done.
Get things done. Get things. And
It just worked that way.
I had to put Roz out of the room.
Because when we got married, y'all,
Really?
again, now let's go back to relationships because I've never gotten spankings.
I grew up with
He
him.
grew up getting beaten.
Yes.
When we had kids, what we gonna do?
That was odd. Cause I extension cord,
yeah.
water hose. My daddy, if I ran over the metal part of the water hose when I was 16 driving, he went and cut the water hose off.
See?
About that much.
See?
So it could wrap around you when
Oh,
See?
wow.
Boy, hey, listen. If I drive in your yard today,
You
if the
looking
water
for the
hose is
water?
out,
Yep.
I'm stopping on the street. Yeah, I'm on the street. I ain't doing it.
But when we had
that was
kids,
us.
he literally had to put me out of the
I had to
house.
put out. I had to put out.
Yeah.
Say you got to go because we got to take care of something. You got to go because
He made me stand outside while he spanked my kid.
yeah. But it's so funny.
But see, and they turned out fine, didn't they?
That was the oldest
All right.
one. That was the oldest
Yeah.
one. The middle one, he went through his little bit, but the baby,
He didn't get whooped.
he didn't get whoopings.
Yeah, you know, and then the kids say, because Jordan, my oldest, said, Dad, you don't ever touch Justin.
But you know
They
why?
get mad about that too.
That little one saw the beatings that them other two got, and he said, "I don't want
I'm
that."
good.
So let me.
No,
so
Justin's
he
the
was,
worst one. He's the worst
You know
one.
what? I'm kind of wondering now.
Oh, that's funny.
And whatever you do, I used to tell a story on when I was on the radio, because I called scan on my mama.
Oh, you was trying to die.
I
Listen.
still think I need to move to the left
Hey,
on
listen,
that one.
it was one of them.
Just in
It was one of
case.
them summers where I got a whooping every day. I think I got a whooping by a water hose, the
Why didn't you
extension
just
cord.
stop?
Yeah.
See, I thought
Simple.
about that.
Oh,
So then
thought about it.
after a whooping one night, I'm watching TV, and the first thing you hear is, "Are your parents beating you?" And I'm looking at the TV like, yeah. You see whips on your body? Like, yes. Call us. We can help. I was like, what?
I'm so done.
Next day, hey, listen, Roz. Next day, I call. I'm like, look, man, everything on y'all commercial.
It's happening.
It's me.
Oh wow.
They took some
wow.
information down. I hung up the phone. I forgot all about it.
Oh, it was
Wow.
on.
Now, my mama's 6 feet tall,
Wow.
big hands. So the lady that came to the house, I was short growing up. I was 4'11" in the 10th grade.
Wow.
So this was what, about the 8th grade? It's the 8th grade. This woman came to the house. I'm looking her eye to eye just like this. Wow. She said, "Are you Mark?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm from Scan. I said, "Your mom here?" I was like, "It's just you?" She
Oh
said,
my
"Yeah."
God.
I looked to the side like that. Where's the police?
Oh my
wow.
God.
She said, "We don't need the police." I said,
yeah,
you do. My mama going with me and you. So by this time,
that's
my mama done came around the corner. She looking at it. Oh, what we got here? And then you get this the look you get. "Are you from where?" "Oh, somebody called you."
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
The eye. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Well, come on in.
Mark, your heart should have just dropped.
Drop.
Right?
Yeah, so my room was at the end of the hallway, and I could see the door. So my mama said, "Hey, go to your room. Let me talk to this lady you called." She sat down. My mama lit a cigarette. She smoked cigarettes back then. Lady started talking. My mama said,
Crossed
sweetheart.
the leg too, didn't you?
I'm pretty sure she
She said, "Listen here. You need to do all your talking, because when I get through with this cigarette, our conversation is over."
Wow.
Mama took a few puffs. She got to talking about statistics. My mama said, "Baby." She popped that cigarette out. She said, "Look out that window back there. Tell me what you see." The woman looked out the window. She said, "I see a motorcycle, a go-kart, a three-wheeler,
Come on.
a basketball goal. I see this." She said, "Do that look like he getting mistreated around? Girl, it's time for you to go. Come on."
Oh my
Wow.
Walked up to the door. Now she walks to the door, gets in the doorway, turns around, looks at me at the end of the hallway and says, "Now you call us if you need us." I'm thinking in the back of my mind, don't leave. And as soon as she got out the
It
door,
was
my
on.
mama said,
It was on.
"Go get the belt. You know what you finna."
Yep.
Boy. And then from that point on, they called like 2 weeks later. I was like, "Look here. Don't you call this house?"
God. I know that's
I'm good.
Don't you see nobody?
I'm good.
Don't you see nobody?
Mark,
He
who?
don't
No, he
live
don't
here.
live here no more.
Yeah, he don't live
Forget
here.
I even called. Forget I even
So
called.
I ain't go that route. So
Yeah.
we got whoopings.
Wow.
That's just the way we did it. So
Yeah.
I don't believe in whipping for everything, but
No, not for everything.
I do believe you got to establish some guidelines.
Absolutely.
You do.
If I got to come to the school, bro, beat
It's a
down.
problem.
Yeah.
But you know, you really don't have to do that. You do, but you don't. And I say that because I grew up with my grandmother embarrassing the mess out of me. So that's how me and my husband do with our kids. So,
I didn't do that.
yeah, like she would walk to the bus stop with the rollers and half out and all of that type
gotcha.
of stuff.
Yeah.
So now,
That's Big Mama. Yeah.
So I'm taking that on, and no matter what school the twins go to, they know, oh, they mama crazy. Because I will come to the school and
Yeah.
I will embarrass
Yeah.
you. And that's one thing my husband and I have talked about, because he'll, talk to him and I'll be like, man, beat they butts. Don't talk to them. Beat them down. What is wrong with
Will
you?
Street. But, yeah,
Beat
Will
them
Street.
down.
Will Street.
And my kids know if they get in trouble, they're like, well, I'm gonna call your mom. Please don't call my mama. Can you just call my daddy? Because see, I'm that mom that one of the twins even cheated on a test one time. And then I'm gonna jump back and flip back over to what we're talking about. But I made him stand on the street sign with a corner. I am a cheater. Yeah, you had to get on. I am a cheater. Not only did I make you stand on the street corner and waved at the folks when they rolled by.
That's a little,
What's
that's a
up,
little
y'all?
extreme for
I
me.
also took him to the boys' club that evening. You had to walk through the boys' club like that as well.
Okay.
So that's the type of stuff that
Okay.
I do.
I
But
gotcha.
now they're a little
I
taller than
gotcha.
me, and they know I will punch you in your skin. But I mean, yeah, I'm gonna punch you in your skin,
In the
kick you,
skin.
and kick you in your skin. But we have that, and now we talk. And like
Yeah.
you said, you do talk.
Yeah.
You don't have to beat
Yeah.
them all the time. But my philosophy was beat the kids before I had kids. But
beat the kids.
yeah, beat the kids before you have kids. But don't worry about it. But we've had that even with football, because Mark and I've kind of talked about the football thing, and I would be like, why don't you just don't do that? And then, or either they'll come to me. And it'll be a different story, but then they flip it and then go to dad because they try to play both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah.
How
Y'all
has that
should-
worked
y'all
for
should
y'all?
get that.
How has that worked for you? Don't get that either.
No,
We never talk to him one by. Yeah.
You always do it
call-
together.
You want to
Together.
talk to me? Okay, hold on a minute, babe. Come.
See,
He want to talk to
and
me.
I get that. Why
Oh,
do
it's
you
a
always
group
call
thing.
dad?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
do you call him? Don't call
Wow,
him.
that's
No,
something
we're gonna
different.
talk
See, I
about
never
this
tried
together.
that.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Group discussion.
That way everybody knows.
He can't go back and say, "Well, Mama said, our daddy said no." You gonna hear
But
what
see,
we
I
say
think that's
together.
good, because I think you're even setting your children up too for when they have relationships.
Yeah.
This is what you do.
Yeah.
We're gonna come. We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
We're gonna communicate,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna go from there.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. I just had to share that memory, but I got to look at both of your fingers right now, because now that I would think is a memory. We don't have rings on.
We don't
We
have
have tattoos. Talk to me about that.
Tattooed
Talk to me about that.
and R.
Yeah.
and an A.
Because I remember a time I lost this, and I just thought couldn't come home. I was a little scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, he gonna kill me. I lost my ring.
That's
Oh my
pretty,
God.
but that's
So how does that
innovative.
work?
I like that though.
Man, I gotta be honest. I guess.
You
I gotta be.
wait.
honest.
I mean, yeah, you do.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
Okay. Well, we got this during a rough time. During a rough time, and it was actually in the process of rebuilding trust.
Wow.
so you just said,
I said, "Look here, let's go to the tattoo.
let's go and get it.
Let's go and get it. So it'll always be there. It'll always be there. Can't take it off."
See, I like that
Wow.
idea.
And
I
so-
don't wear jewelry. I don't wear a
But
watch.
that was for us, and it was so funny because on our way to the you just doing this so I can trust you again.
Well, yeah.
yeah. But that was our thing.
And for us, that's kind of been, we get asked about that all the time, and I still I have a wedding ring, but I never wear it. I just never wear it because I don't feel like I am defined. My marriage is defined by that ring. My marriage is from our heart, and you can't see what's in my heart. You may be able to see what's on my finger, but people cheat every day with a ring on, and not knocking anybody that wears a ring. This was just for us.
Just
and
for
where
us,
we
yeah.
were. And so I think for me, I needed to know that even if you get approached because you don't have a ring on, that you're going to be able to withstand that temptation.
Well, today has been so fulfilling, has it not? It has been so fulfilling.
You don't want to talk about it? Okay.
Well, yeah, of course. We have to have you guys come back and
Yeah.
talk about some other things. I'm pretty sure I get a lot of emails, so I mean, we may have you guys come back and.
That
We'll be
awesome.
honored
Do we have
to.
their-
We'll be honored to.
Is there information up, Dean? Do we have? If not, how? If somebody wants to contact you all for
Yeah, I think
counseling
we're
or
gonna
anything
have-
like
Oh,
that, we're
man.
gonna have that.
Yeah.
Oh
Right
yeah.
Together
I
with
don't have my
one.
glasses on.
You
Dean
can
was like,
go-
"Look, KB, it's
There
right
it is.
here."
Right there.
Okay, thanks, Dean.
Together with one
That's
Facebook. You can go on
Love
Facebook
it.
and actually make appointments via Facebook.
Love that.
So we can go there.
Love it.
Yeah, hit us
And I
up.
missed
Great.
you guys this year too, even at the expo, the bridal expo.
Oh,
yeah.
I heard it was really, really nice with you
We
guys.
really
Wait,
enjoyed
it's
They
a-
had
it's a
them in the
Bridal
VI
Expo? What is
Yeah,
what?
it's the Love is in the Air Bridal Fair. Shout out to y'all. Hey, Miss Yolanda. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
But yes, and they
Yeah.
had a whole VIP room, but they were the guests in the VIP room.
Well,
had
And
a
I
well,
thought
well.
that
Good
was
time.
really, really nice.
It was fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That
cool.
was fun.
Well, thanks for coming by, man. We
Thank
sure appreciate
you.
it. We
Thank
love
y'all for
having
having
you.
me.